friends.
Oh my god.
It's time for the show.
Is this happening?
With your favorite co-hosts.
It is.
Eric and Nicole.
Could be worse.
We got all you need from pop culture to what's on TV.
Or
we
not.
cover everyday life, Long Island Strong, North Shore, South Shore, all week long.
Please stop.
So let's get started, friends, because us two got a lot to say.
We do?
We're gonna make you laugh.
They're laughing.
Put a smile on your face today.
Hello, No, Nicole, I don't do this. It's time for the show. Why are we... No.
You're doing great.
With your good friends, Eric. I'm not doing this, Nicole. This is ridiculous. I don't sing. Just start the show. Let's go. Start the show.
Fine.
Hello, Nicole. Hello.
Hello, Eric. Hello. How are you?
I am doing wonderful on this super-de-duper amazing Friday. I am excited for our show today.
I'm really, really excited. I'm hyper.
Well, I want to let everyone know before we get to all our hyperness that make sure you follow, like, and subscribe wherever you guys are watching our shows, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever we're creating content. You guys liking, subscribing, interacting with it in comments, thumbs up, hitting bells, all of those things are great free ways to help support our show, and we very much appreciate it. Of course, share the show now. Let everyone know that we're live. We are here for you and live. Or when you get to the end of the show, let your friends know or put it in a Facebook group somewhere where you think somebody would like what you just heard. Of course, if you need to know where to find all of our socials or our live show schedule, you can head over to hellofriendspod.com to get all of my socials, Nicole's, the schedule, and more. What about if they're listening to the podcast version, Nicole?
If you are listening to that audio version, please be sure to leave it a 5-star rating, a positive review, and share it with all your podcast listening, or maybe not even podcast listening pals. Introduce it to them. Show them. Hello, friends. Let's embrace and share the friendship.
Embrace and share the friendship, which is what I'm excited that we're going to do today, is embrace and share friendship.
Yes.
Because it is a friend.
Yes.
Of ours now, but also a friend of our guest from last week that everybody loved the last week's show so much that it was one of their favorite shows they've heard in a long time. And I am excited for our guest today.
I am really excited for our guest, and I have a whole thing prepared. So
right.
Our friends, hopefully you guys know where I'm going with this. She was working at a bridal shop in Flushing, Queens, until her boyfriend kicked her out. Oh, sorry, wrong person. Our guest today is a Twitch affiliate. She is a podcast host for multiple podcasts. She loves the Nanny. She loves the challenge. She loves Big Brother. She loves all things RuPaul. It is the one, the only Beth Dixon.
Beth. Hello, Beth.
Hello. I have to say, first of all, the Nanny reference coming in was amazing. So you nailed that. Loved it. It was amazing. Secondly, Nicole is essentially a flight attendant when like they're telling like all the pre-flight like takeoff things. It's like, make sure to fasten your seatbelt before takeoff. It's like just doing all the little motions. It was so cute. I loved it.
Oh, I thought you meant like before the show started that like Nicole's the person to be like, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do the other. And I was just going to push it off on her and be like, I know she is so bossy, right? No,
Not bossy.
No, definitely meant when you were going around and saying, hey, make sure you're leaving your star ratings and reviews and all those different things. She's like, go to the website and
she loves to
put
see
in the 5 stars. And it's just like, I loved it. It was amazing.
She is.
I forget like the different parts, so he's in charge of vocalizing it. So then I used to always sit here and I was like, what can I do? What can I
pantomime? It's perfect. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Well, listen, I got it, and believe me, I will be rushing to make sure that my ratings, reviews, likes, and all those other shares are happening because I've got to see a visual and hear the instructions of what to do to support your podcast in a free and effective way.
Exactly.
I love
Thank you, Beth.
We love that, Beth. Now I'm a little upset because I would have thought you would have done those things already, but that's fine. You know, you do it whenever you're ready.
Today's podcast.
No,
I'm gonna leave a rating review after every podcast.
I
There you
love
go.
it.
There it
Imagine if we
is.
could. Imagine if we could. No,
I
I
know.
have to say this, Beth, because, I'm going to make it about me for a
Please
minute.
do.
Because for those people who may not have seen last week's show yet, there was a funny moment where Dylan, who, we have to have Dylan back on too, because I don't feel we got into a lot with Dylan, even where we could have gotten into. But Dylan was like, the person that I do my shows with, my podcast host, she is just such a fan of. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, Nicole. It's like, you, Eric, she was a patron. She listened to you years ago, blah, blah, blah. And I was just kind of stunned. Like, if you go back and watch my face in that moment, I was kind of like, I'm not really used to people saying that on this show.
Oh,
Well,
No.
it's true. I'm a relatively newer Big Brother fan. I started
Right.
watching in BB16 and then BB17. One of my really good friends was on the show, Steve Moses, who ended up
Aw.
winning. And so I was like on all of these different, trying to figure out who's podcasting, who's saying what. And I fell in love with your recaps of the show, just the different way that you would portray different characters, what they're doing. But simultaneously, whenever you had the ability to interview people, you always bring this sense of there's a little bit of shade, but it's meant from love, and you're fair and fun and charismatic and just all those things. So I was just listening to all of that stuff, and I used to travel a lot for work. So I would have you on when I was driving across the country, having no idea where I was. And I was like, well, at least Eric's making me laugh because this traffic's making me cry. So there were a lot of wonderful things happening around that time. So
I
Yeah,
love
big fan.
hearing that. Too bad the fans broke me of it. Now we're not allowed to joke about anything anymore, or else you get
so
canceled.
true. No, I hear that. As someone who
Bad shows
also
can't be fun
covers
anymore.
a lot
people.
on different other podcasts and such. But I can say, getting into the podcast game for reality show television, honestly, you were a big inspiration for that. So now I podcast on 2 different podcasts about reality shows. And so how does that feel, Eric?
I love it. So you
Inspiring.
do a show for Rob, right?
I
You do a
do.
show with Rob Has the Podcast. What are you covering over there with them?
So I cover RuPaul's Drag Race with Liana Boris and Amon Adwin. And so the
Lovely.
3 of us will cover each episode of definitely the US seasons and All-Star seasons, but we've also covered a little bit of the UK, although I have to say the UK season 2 was way better than 13 in my opinion. So
Right.
wish we could have done a little bit more there. But we also covered Canada's Drag Race. We're debating whether or not we're going to do full coverage for Down Under, which starts on May 1st. It's a never-ending cycle of Drag Race at this point. So we're trying to figure out, do we have lives or do we just jump into this all the time? So
You
that's fun.
just be at 24. Welcome to the Big Brother. That's how I was. It's like, oh my God, we just have BBUS. This is so much fun. It's my favorite show to cover. And then it became Big Brother all year long. Canada, US, UK.
Celeb.
But here's the thing. I mean, I am glad that you said that, and that does really mean a lot to me. And I'm just gonna make a little post-it note here that I'm gonna just send Rob, I don't know. I feel like he owes me like a 20% finder's fee. I mean, I did inspire it, so I don't know. Rob and I'll work it out. Don't
There you
worry.
go. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. And then
No,
Nicole, what are you going to try to do to get a cash in on this as well? Just
I feel like I offered the inspiration for your sweater. I'm very into
Perfect.
rainbows and stuff.
mhm.
So I think I inspired your clothing choice, which I'm
Lovely.
guessing it's a visual show and you can't come to work naked. So I provide the inspiration for your clothing.
I think that that's incredibly accurate.
Thank you.
Before I got ready today, I said, what would Nicole Anthony wear? She would wear something colorful, fun, rainbows. Maybe it's something that's a little graphic, something that's
Yeah.
fun for a Friday afternoon chat session. And so here we are. So
I don't know that you know the real Nicole clothing wise, because
No,
you know
this
what
is
her
nice.
you know
It's
what
like a
her
flowy
slogan
sweater.
is. No, you know what I'm talking about.
April Fools, you
What?
saw my boobs.
It's April Fool's, you saw my boobs. So
Sound clips of me from I don't even know when I said that. I guess it was April Fool's Day, but
yeah. Yeah. No, we love a Nicole fashion sense. We love a Nicole fashion sense, or I don't love a
Absolutely.
Nicole fashion sense. But here's the thing. I love the Nicole fashion sense that she has become.
Yes. I think that well, Nicole, talk me a little bit on your journey, let's say like post BB21, in terms of like what have you been through that is
Yeah.
like, I mean, you've gone on a podcast, you've started, all these different things. Like, what has been your journey in the Nicole essence? Like we
Like
were
clothing wise.
This is an
clothing wise,
intervention, Nicole.
style, like personality. Like what do you think that what has your transformation been?
I will
That's what I'm
say the transformation went from prior to Big Brother, like not dark in like a negative sense, but just like black leather and military camo and dark green, a lot of darks. And then I went on Big Brother, and because I was quirky girl, they were like pink. Every competition, she's gonna wear pink. We're putting her in pink, everything. So I kind of had pushed back with that in the beginning because I was like, no, I used to wear dresses when I was little. I used to wear pink when I was little. I refuse. But it kind of like forced me to like embrace that side of myself and like, yeah, I do like pink. I do like unicorns. So then I came off the show and I was like, ugh, I do like pink and unicorns, but I want to go back and morph the two to my other clothing, but I was afraid what the fandom would think. So then I had like a slow transition, and then it just became I'm more confident with my body and the way I look, and more I will wear this type of shirt even if it's a V-neck, or I will wear this shirt even if it's off the shoulder. So it became a confidence transformation. So I went from very guarded to very pink
open
to very let's just morph the two, become comfortable with my own skin, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like I wear what I wear, and I don't know. I guess I'm still working on it because there's things that Eric doesn't approve.
Like
But that's the thing.
90%.
That's what I love, though, is that you've been able to find a way to kind of like mitigate. Okay, what does the fandom want me to wear? But also, like,
Yeah.
what do you want to wear in particular? I feel like what you've gone through is very similar. I don't want to speak for Steve, but like Steve has had such a blooming after the show of who he is and navigating his style and all these different kinds of things. So I think that there's something to be said about they put you in a box on national television,
Yep.
and then how do you take on some of those traits, rebel against some of them, and kind of morph
Yep.
yourself afterwards. So that's kind of fun to.
Which is funny that you were inspired by Eric, because Steve was one of my biggest influences when it came to applying and going on the show. So we've
I
come
love that. Full circle. Love that.
Well, not really, because I mean, yes, really, but I mean also, I don't know that you're aware, Steve gave me his blessing, and I am Steve. See,
Yeah.
because I'm live every single day, and there's always like new people that come through on a hangout show or whatever, and then people always get confused and be like, wait, this is a show about reality TV? Were you on reality TV? And I'll be like, yes, I am Big Brother winner Steve Moses. So there is a slew of people that really truly do believe that I am Big Brother winner Steve Moses, and like all the chats know that you just go along with it. I don't even have to tell them anymore. Like new people just are like, yeah, I'm Steve Moses. I won Big Brother.
I love it. The best part about that is Steve is absolutely like totally fine with that. He does not have an ego about those kind of things.
No.
That's what I love the most about him. I feel like there's a lot of people who would be very upset about that even being a joke and like, yeah, you can go along with it, but like, no, he genuinely just be like, that's great. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Especially shout out to his mom. It's his mom's birthday today.
Well,
it's Kathy Moses' birthday today.
I did know that it was her birthday today, and it's so funny because I don't say Kathy Moses. The joke in our shows is I always go, Steve's mom.
Steve's mom.
So, happy birthday, Steve's mom.
Happy birthday, Mama Moses.
Mama
Moses.
And then so fun story. Steve's like a younger brother to me. I was very close with his older brother. His older brother's a year older than me, and we actually like dated on and off in high school. And then his mom was my band teacher, so I was always around the Moseses, and so it was just really funny. I've always called her Mumsy Moses. We had a time where Mumsy Moses makes no sense for her personality to call her Mumsy Moses, but it's a lot of fun.
She's
like that, though.
wonderful. She is a
She's
wonderful
great.
support to Big Brother players in the community, and she's great. She is
I love her
wonderful.
very much.
Beth, who would you take on if someone said to you, "Oh, who are you from Big Brother?" Would you be like, "Yes,
Oh.
I am"?
Well, see, I got all excited that there was actually a Beth on BB Can 9, and now I'm like,
Yes.
I have to renounce it. And people, like, after the taintedness of Holly taking my name essentially in your
Yes.
season, I was
True.
like, no, I need a real Beth on the show. And then Beth
Yeah.
came on, and I was like, great. But I don't know. I think that honestly, I feel like I would be more in like your archetype, right?
Yes.
So I'd be like the bubbly kind of nerd girl. Like that's just how they would probably like cast me if I were to be on the show. So you know what? I'm gonna steal your identity, Nicole. I'm gonna get my oh, actually, I'm sorry. I have to go with the other Nicole because I do a Nicole Franzel impression all the time. So I guess I would
I'm
have
ready for it.
I just
Oh
got
my
dumped.
God, I'm so excited. I was here on Hello Friends podcast and they said that maybe I should come up with who my other person would be.
That is really freaky because I was gonna make a joke and do my Nicole, which is like, oh, I don't know when I want to go in the wall. Like that's my Nicole, but but like
No.
obviously I'm joking. That you really sound like Nicole. As a matter
Holy
of
hell.
fact, I think I know how we're gonna have Nicole on the podcast now.
There we go.
She's
Oh
been
my
a little
God,
busy.
I can tell you all about my wedding and what happened was that I learned to dance for it and apparently I was really good.
I
Oh my
have
God.
chills. I have goosebumps. I don't know if you could see it. That is freaky as hell.
I mean, considering you were actually in a house with her. And
you sound
to
just
say
like
that,
her.
So
okay,
you
you know what? I will take it. I will take it.
Does she
Wow.
know this?
I have no idea. I
Well,
have
I
no
have a
idea.
feeling she's gonna after this show.
She has to. No, because I was gonna say I give you permission to go around saying you're Nicole Anthony, but with that impersonation, like you can say I'm Nicole F, and people. Well, I guess she's Nicole A now, but people be
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
yeah, that's scary, Beth.
I do. So, I play video games and such on my streams, and every once in a while, I can't help. I just slip into her voice. Like I have a redemption on my channel to do a Siri voice. So sometimes I'll be playing Dead by Daylight and like acting like Siri and being like, come back over here. I have a totem that you need to do, or something like that. And then other times I'll flip into the Nicole Franzel one. And I like that my two personalities, if it's not me, is either Siri or Nicole Franzel. Like it makes no sense.
Very different. Wait, so can you do any other impersonations? Because you're really skilled at it.
Oh, thank you. The only other one I can kind of do is Lois Griffin from Family Guy and like Al Peter and just like that kind of thing. But that's about it.
Beth, you need to be like a voice actress.
I would happily do that. That's
you
not
need
a joke.
to. Oh my God,
I would gladly do it.
I'm kind of glad that you didn't want to do like take Nicole Anthony because I do a really good Nicole Anthony. Do you want to hear my Nicole?
Yes, I do. I do
Okay.
very much.
Okay, ready?
No, I'm not going to work with you. I don't want to work with you. I don't want to. You're the worst. Worst co-host ever.
The
sound like
shade.
that.
Yeah.
Beth,
Yeah, it is weird that you do have like the multiple octaves when you talk, like the like it's high, low, and in the middle all the same time. It is weird, Nicole. That was
It
weird.
is.
something from
She
The
goes-
Exorcist going on.
Yeah.
She goes a lot of places with it. She goes a lot of I think the Nicole Frenzel thing is that's freaky, and I think you're missing out on your side hustle where you should be like on someplace doing like the voice messages.
Like Cameo. Yeah.
And Cameo.
Be like a professional Nicole Franzel impersonator. Like I'll charge like $10,
Yeah.
like to do a message as Nicole Franzel. I think that's fun. I should do that.
I like that a lot. And what I like about it, like you do it out of like, oh, I sound like her, I respect her, I appreciate her. It's not like you're like, a lot of people.
No.
I like how
My
you do it.
intention is never to actually like do any kind of personal digs on people or anything like that. But I
Right.
just
Absolutely.
yeah.
No,
Like
it's just like you
positivity.
sound just like her. That is amazing. I wish I would have known that during Big Brother All Stars. That would have been fun.
There was a lot of times. So the other podcast I'm on is my Weekly Meltdown, and it's with Allison Kelly and Tyler Lyons. And there were a lot of times throughout All Stars where I was pulling out the Nicole voice. So a lot of times.
Wow, wow.
It.
Are you able to do a Long Island accent, whether it be the one that Eric doesn't have or the one that I clearly do have?
I can't really do a Long Island accent. Like I can say water, and like that's about it. But I can't. There's certain accents I just can't wrap my head around doing properly. And it's the same thing. Like I studied abroad in London when I was in college, and I can identify regional accents and I can attempt to do them, but they will eventually all blend together. So
Yep.
like if I do a Long Island accent, it will eventually like blend into a Rhode Island and then Boston and then New York, and it makes no sense. So I just don't even attempt.
I don't understand accents at all. I don't know how I escaped having one being from New York. I don't understand how Nicole and I live 10 minutes from each other.
And
And
have
it's
very
like,
different accents.
Mi-
Did
well,
you grow up on Long Island, Eric?
yes.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know if you were like,
Yes.
He's
I don't
outraged.
know why I
Yes.
said that so aggressively. Yeah, yes, don't put me
pardon
anywhere
me,
else.
Eric. My
No.
God.
I spent I spent my summers in Texas from when I was like a kid probably
This
until
is
I
like
was
the
about
worst time to be in Texas.
it was the worst time you say?
Wouldn't that be the worst time to be in Texas is the summer?
I've never been.
I
It'd be
have to
so hot.
say I think it is the thing that made me the person I am. Like, say what we do as, and I don't know what people say. I'm going to say this. Sometimes in New York, the South gets a bad rap. I loved everything about my summers in Texas. It's my favorite food. Everyone was always
good
so
food.
nice. I really think if I was just solely being raised in New York, I'd be a lot harder of a person. I equate those 3 months a year being in Texas as a reason that I'm such a lovable guy.
That's
Really?
nice, Eric.
It is.
Nice
I'm
that
a
you
nice
think
guy.
that way. No.
I have Southern hospitality.
Good for you.
Good for me. Just don't cross me because I'm still a New Yorker and I'll stab you in your face.
Of course. Well, and that's the thing. So I'm an upstate New Yorker. I'm a North Country girl, which means
Which
I'm
might as well
like
be the South.
I'm in South Canada. Like,
Yes.
I'm 20 minutes away from the bridge to Canada. So
Which bridge? Oh, me. Oh, well, I
there's
actually know.
multiple bridges where I'm at. So you can go over the Messina Cornwall Bridge, you can go over the Ogdensburg Brockville Bridge, Alexandria.
What's the one that
Bay-
like puts you into almost Niagara Falls?
Okay, that's 5 hours south of me.
Oh,
So it's a
That's-
distance.
There's a
I
distance.
just found out a few months ago that Niagara Falls is above New York. We don't need to get into my lack of geography skills. I was flabbergasted that you could drive through New York to
Listen.
get to Niagara Falls.
Oh, I'll do it this way. Hold on. So this is New York State.
mhm.
Yes.
Niagara Falls over here. I'm up here. And then you guys
Okay,
are all down there.
wow.
So it's like Niagara Falls, Buffalo is as far like west as you can get in New York State, but there's still
Yes.
like the little part that's the top area. Like
Mhm.
I'm north of the Adirondack Park.
So you're
Okay.
up there.
I'm up there. I'm an hour and 20 minutes south of Ottawa, Canada.
Wow.
Okay,
Like that's
that
the
is
closest city to me is Ottawa,
But see,
Canada.
really.
Isn't that the
Equidistant.
interesting? Have you found like when people ask you and you go, "Oh, I'm from New York," it doesn't matter where they are in the country. It's like automatically New York City is the focal point. And I try to explain to people what I say is like there's three different parts. You could be Long Island, you could be the city, you could be upstate, and I kind of clump that.
And the thing is when you're in upstate, there are like several regions of upstate. So like I
Right.
am 6.5 hours north of New York City. So when people are like, "Oh my God, which borough are you from?" I'm like the one 6.5 hours north of it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm in cow
Yeah.
country.
Yeah,
There's two mountain ranges in between me and the city. Like there's a lot. So I always joke about that kind of stuff. But I mean, New York State has a lot of like different regions to it, and upstate New York has a lot to offer. So I always encourage people when you have a second to like get out of the city, like Go to upstate. And no, Poughkeepsie is not upstate. You
I
have to
mean-
get to at least Albany before you're actually upstate. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh,
Sorry about
Albany is far. I have to say, for the Big Brother Canada finale, however many years ago that was, I drove. And it was, now you're going to not consider it upstate because now you know what bridge I
If you say
took
Yonkers, I'm going to smack you.
Yeah. Oh God, no. I
Thank
was clearly look, I have never had a panic attack in a car before,
Okay.
but there was just I don't understand how I started in New York. At some points I was in Pennsylvania. I was like, I thought I was going straight up, but I'm just doing what the GPS says. But then eventually I was in upstate New York.
Were you in Syracuse?
Maybe. I don't know. I
Well,
went
I've
wherever
only
the
asked that because most people, if they're going to go to New York City from where I'm at, would take 81 down through Syracuse, and then they would eventually end up in like Scranton, Pennsylvania, and then they would find a way over to like East Stroudsburg, and then New Jersey, and then all that kind of stuff. But
there
all
was
those
colleges because I remember seeing like the sign for certain colleges and being
Gotcha.
like, oh, that's where that college is. And obviously I know it's not Oneonta, but what my
Gotcha.
point was, it is so beautiful. I do think that you should travel there
Yeah.
until the GPS decided to take me through this town for some reason, which was like a 2-lane road, right? Like
Okay.
just 2 lanes. And then the second I get on it, a tractor comes out in front of me. And now we are going 5 miles an hour. And I'm looking at GPS, and it, without exaggeration, is like, you have 10 miles on this road. And I think I cut off that tractor after 1 mile. I couldn't handle it anymore.
Oh yeah, you just passed the tractors at that point. Up here, it's a lot of Amish buggies that you get
Okay.
to
Oh.
interact with.
That's cool though.
It's cool, and I love like buying like produce and their like woodworking and such whatever from them. However, but when you are driving and going 60 some miles per hour, and then all of a sudden you come up on a buggy, they're all on the side of the road, they're not like in the lane, but they are like, well, we have the one reflector on the back, and we have the one, it's like pitch black, you can't see that.
Oh my
Like,
God.
you're like, ugh, there are quite a few unfortunate like car accidents and such with buggies up here.
The weirdest thing to me was like I have just started like driving. Like I've had my license for a number of years, but I've just started like really driving. I was so unnerved by the fact that my phone was my GPS, right? So it's on the little dashboard, it's doing its thing. And all of a sudden she goes, there is a stopped car in the road ahead. And I was
you
like,
got
how do
Waze.
you know that? So I got creeped out. And like a ways down the road, there was a car stopped. And I'm like, that's creepy. And then she goes, there is an object in the road ahead. And lo and behold, down the road.
What app is this?
You don't have
I don't-
that's Waze. It's Waze.
Oh,
And that's
Waze,
not
okay.
even the worst one that she does. She doesn't say there's a car on the road ahead, or she always prefaces it with, watch out. There's a car stopped on the side of the road. She always starts it with, and every time I'm like, whoa, okay, wait, what? But yeah.
Mine didn't say watch out. Mine is just an Android. I go to Google Maps and I type in my
Oh,
address and I
okay,
get
it's
direction.
Google Maps.
Something with Android Google Maps. But she scared me when she was like, there's an object in the road ahead.
Yeah.
And then there was. And I'm like, how does she know this? Who is watching to know that piece of metal is in Nicole Anthony's way? I don't know. Witchcraft creepy, freak me out.
It's
Well,
100% witchcraft.
Get
Right?
Waze, because they'll also tell you where the police are. So you can, know when to slow down.
Important.
I'm a safe
So-
driver.
Yeah. So Amish country, I don't understand. I am fascinated by it, but I also feel like you're literally in your horse and buggy watching the entire world that has evolved and moved on. Like, I'm
Yeah.
all about keeping the tradition, and I think that is an amazing, but I couldn't imagine being a kid and being like, but we could just look how fast the
Also,
car
up
goes.
here, we fully do have an Amish bus. So it's
Mhm.
like no one who is Amish drives it, but they will sometimes ride it because it is so far for many of them to get to like a Walmart or something to like
Oh,
go
really?
shopping. So
Yeah.
there is like there is the Amish bus up here, and
What
so
is an
when people are
Amish
like
bus?
the Amish bus, I'm just now realizing how weird that must sound like.
Is
Yeah,
it like 4 horses and a longer cab? Do we really mean a bus?
It's a real bus. It's a real
Oh,
bus.
okay.
but
But
doesn't
you'll
that go against what?
Listen, all I'm saying is like there are little things here and there that seemingly don't go along with what we expect
Gotcha.
them to believe.
Right.
But I do think that some of them are concessions of like, okay, well, there are modern times, and what we're trying to do
Yes.
is live in our certain way to a certain point. There's been
Well-
big contentions about like having smoke detectors, which is required by law in New York State that every home has to have a smoke detector in it. And they're very much like, nope, we're not going to do it. So I know that for a long time, there's been like a constant battle between the state and them about that. And like those kind
Wow.
of stuff.
All I know is I give them credit because when the lights go out, I'm that person that still flips the switch, and I'm like, damn it!
It's not working. Well, so okay, we're going to get into the old part of me now. In 1998, there was the Great Ice Storm that knocked out power up here for a month. And the Amish were like absolutely necessary for so many communities because they you could not drive a car on the ice. Like my family had just bought our new home that was in the village, and we lived out in the country. And unfortunately, we had a fire in our house in the middle of the ice storm, and so we had to leave to go to the new house.
Oh,
And
like a
what
bad fire, not
like
like
a bad
oh,
fire.
oh,
It
no.
thankfully didn't burn down the house, but it smoked us out. Like there was no way we could breathe and live in there. So we ended up just going to the new house. And what normally would take us like 10, 15 minutes to get into town took us like 4 hours because the roads were so messed up from trees falling because there was so much weight on them from the ice.
Yeah.
But the Amish communities were really, really important to help get supplies from the Red Cross and such to different areas. And so they really, really stepped up and helped the greater North Country area.
Wow.
I was gonna say, you know what? Maybe next week we should have an Amish person join us,
They
and
probably wouldn't
and
have Skype. That's the one
that's
issue.
what I
Oh,
just realized. I don't
Yeah.
know how we would do that.
I can
That's
go down
cool,
and
though.
see
I wanna learn
the
more.
Sash and Strubers down the road if they would.
Stop. Yes, you
What?
should definitely. You should definitely.
Strachenstrudel?
Something like that.
Oh,
I think there's last name.
I know toaster strudels.
Yeah, I was gonna
Ooh.
say she thinks you mean toaster strudel.
I love the frosting packets that goes.
Oh my! Wait, Beth, hold on. Side note: I know Eric, but have you ever had at Domino's the crispy lava chocolate cakes that come with a little cup of icing? Beth, it will change your life.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm excited.
I cannot. They are the best chocolate with the best chocolate inside and a little icing cup. Woo!
Okay, so we had a Domino's and then it closed. So the one thing that sucks about being up here is that there is literally nothing. So I have to drive 30 minutes to get to a McDonald's, just putting that out there. So we don't have a Domino's within, I think, an hour and a half of here. So
I would die.
But I would die. We have a Pizza Hut. We have a Burger King. We have a Dairy Queen. And they're building McDonald's right now. And a Subway. There you go. That's my town.
Pizza Hut?
We have a Pizza Hut with a drive-through. It's the nicest Pizza Hut you will ever see in your life because they just rebuilt it a couple years ago. And I'm like, can you give us a Chipotle? Why do we need a Pizza Hut with a drive-through?
Eric's
Oh,
short-circuiting.
Pizza Hut is my favorite.
This
I
still
live
exists?
in New York, and Pizza Hut's my favorite.
Okay,
And
so
then they close them all down.
Yeah, we don't have one.
And then they put them in Taco Bells. You could
Yes.
go to Taco Bell and order it.
Right.
Then they remove them from the Taco Bells. Now there ain't no more Pizza Huts,
well,
Bobby.
listen, I'm approximately 8 hours away from you. So just drive up here.
Mhm.
I've got a guest room and you can get yourself some.
That's how
Pizza
we'll
Hut.
get Pizza Hut and we'll bring you the Domino's chocolate
Oh, there
icing
we
cake.
go. We have found what we're going to do. This will be a great little road trip.
Do you
Then we
like
might be leave the
chocolate?
country and go to Canada. It's gonna be great. Except for the border is now open. Whatever.
Yeah. Do you love a chocolate cake? Because Nicole says sorry to me about this because I am not a chocolate person. She
I love
tries.
chocolate.
Oh, you love chocolate. Okay,
I
I'm not a
love
chocolate.
chocolate. I think ice cream is my all-time favorite thing in the world. So anything I can eat with ice cream, such as a cake, makes me
Mhm.
very happy.
Oh, those
Mm.
chocolate cakes. But now you're a seltzer person. I can't get on
Sure
board
am.
with this, Beth. I can't get on board with this.
No, that is gross. That is unflavored soda.
All right, and it was really nice to talk with you all today, but I hope you all have a really wonderful life, seltzer free. No, just kidding. Yeah, I'm a big seltzer person. I drink about probably 5 cans a day or so. It's how I get my
Why,
water in.
why do you
It's
think you're not worth flavor?
no, these are. Have you had Polar
Yeah.
seltzers? They're my favorite. We're
Mm.
doing a little
Does it have
product.
sugar?
What'd you say?
Does it have like sweetness to it? Like I cannot drink a drink that is not. So I don't believe you. You're a seltzer person.
So it took me a while. I won't pretend like I just had a can of seltzer and my life was changed. It took me a long time. A lot of my friends were buying seltzers, and I've always been like very addicted to like Coca-Cola.
Me too.
Which by the way, not a great thing to be like, I'm addicted to Coke. Like
Right.
not a thing that you should tell
True.
people.
Yeah.
You know what's
Um,
worse? I'm addicted to Diet Coke.
See, I can't get on board with the diet. Like if
No.
you're gonna do diet, just do seltzer at that point, you know? Just
Yeah,
like there's
I
no
would drink-
flavor with the diet that I like.
Oh, I
I would
disagree,
drink
but go
seltzer before I
ahead.
drank diet. Ugh.
Oh, okay. See, Nicole's a nice in between of the two of us.
I'm sorry. I'm still fascinated about seltzer. We need to educate people. So let's
Okay.
do it.
I'm going to tell you the best thing that you should do if you were trying out seltzer, if you were in the Northeast and have access to Polar Seltzer in particular,
Okay.
is get their lemonade limeade versions that are, there's only like 8 cans in the pack, but they're very good. They have a tart cherry limeade that is absolutely amazing. And they have a mango limeade that's my favorite thing in the whole world. And especially in the summer, it's so refreshing. Like if you're like, oh my God, I'm hot and I'm dehydrated, and you just like down one of those cans, it's so full of flavor and just so refreshing.
Now, but when
That's
you say flavor,
There
so
is
it tastes
flavor.
like water that has like some fruit in it.
Yes and no. Like I feel like when you get to the lemonade limeade portion, it
Mhm.
really does feel like it's like the juice of a mango is in there, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right, look.
Like that's what it
Let's
tastes
try
like.
it, Eric.
I'm
We're
gonna
gonna give
say
it a
this right now. Polar should be giving Beth some sort of a
Yes.
brand deal because this was not an ad.
It was not an
But
ad. I'm putting it out there. I've been trying, like you would not believe, to get Polar to even just respond to a tweet of mine, and they like barely tweet ever. And I'm like, listen, Polar, if you were to send me like one free case as like a quote unquote sponsorship, I would literally die. Like it would literally make my whole life. I love
Let-
Polar Seltzer so much.
let me
Mine
tell
is
you. Well,
Izzy. The Izzy,
Oh.
the sparkling.
Izzy's are good.
Because that's I could do sparkling juice.
Yep.
Like that
Sparkling
is
juice
like
is
I
really
love soda. I love Mountain Dew, grape soda, like the sugary. So I can do sparkling juice. Seltzer, I have a hard time getting by. Truly, I can't. I just can't.
Listen, when we're talking about alcoholic seltzers, quote unquote, those are not seltzers. Those are just malt beverages.
it's beer. It's flavored beer.
Yeah.
Look,
But to each
I-
their own.
I just want to
True.
say this. Polar needs to do it for you.
Yes.
Because you sold me and I was like, I'm not kidding. You couldn't there was nothing that you were gonna say that was gonna get me to try it until you said it actually tastes like the juice. That I will try it.
Wanna try
I
it?
will
I will say this too,
Mhm.
fully recognizing
Right.
that I have been drinking seltzer nonstop for a few years now, that I might have a very warped view of what
It's
it
fine.
tastes like there's the juice in there. But I will say, when it comes to the limeade and lemonade line that they have, there's
Okay.
way more flavor in it, and it tastes more like an Izzy than it would just like a normal seltzer. That's what it tastes like. to
Oh,
me.
I love my Izzy's.
I would definitely
Okay.
give those a shot.
I'm
Try
in.
them out this
Try.
summer on a nice warm day. That's when
Oh
you're
no,
gonna
I'm
do it.
not waiting. I'm gonna
Okay,
try
then
him
don't
out
do,
this week.
don't wait. Just have it and just down the gullet. Just do it. It's gonna be great.
Or you know what? No,
Eric,
not
together,
unless I
taste
hear
test.
that Polar has sent you a free case. Then I'll
This
try
is
it.
the campaign. This is the hill we are going to die
Yes.
on.
Yes.
Hill we're
Us
dying
and
on.
all of our listeners, we are revolting against Polar until you get a free case.
Yes,
Everybody
that's it.
just I got so
Tweet them.
exposed on my Twitch stream like a month ago. I was streaming with Jeremy Carey, also formerly known as Fifi O'Hara,
Mhm.
and my good friend Stefan, and we were talking about Seltzer, and Jeremy literally goes, "Oh my God, this is the official Polar Seltzer page. They have one follower, and it's Beth." And he showed it up, and it wasn't one follower. He meant like one mutual follower of like somebody he knows, and he had 8,000 followers, only one that he knew, and it was me. And I was like, I've never felt so exposed in my entire life. But at the same time, I was like, okay, well, if you want to help lead the cause,
Yeah.
make sure that I am getting recognized by Polar. This is all I care
Right.
about.
This is
Listen, I
what needs to happen. Polar needs to
I
get
have
on this, Polar.
Thank you.
I
I
have an
just
update from my personal life. It's very, very sad.
Before you have your update from your personal life, I'm going to put one last little pin in because now I'm on a high horse and I'm getting angry for Beth. Here's the thing. I don't understand why these places don't realize that the future of advertising is with
Finger.
people that do what we do. No
Thank
one
you.
watches TV anymore. No
So-
one watches commercials. We all have TiVos. Brands and places are selling stuff on TikTok and blah
Yes.
blah bloody blue and
Yep.
give Beth a Polar.
I mean, literally, you have 8,000 followers on Twitter. I'm not claiming to be able to expand that like to the endless horizons. However,
hmm
I will help expand. You
Yeah.
give me one free case.
That's the
Oh
thing.
my God.
That's the thing. I think they think that people that do what we do want like $1,000 a post I'm just like, does
Said-
Raisinets understand if they gave me like a box of Raisinets, I would probably do a 17 post tweet thread on? Or when I found out that there's other flavors of Yoo-hoo, they literally exist on my wish
Time out.
list right now.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
There's
haven't tried them yet.
Oreo Yoo-hoo. There's vanilla Yoo-hoo. There's
Strawberry?
Oreo is the cookies and cream one. They're literally on my Amazon wish list, like for my family. I want it for my next holiday or my next thing.
Let's get on that.
That's
We
gonna
need it.
happen.
Group
This is what-
Yoo-hoo event.
And I don't get why they don't
It
realize
should be
that.
a
I
blind
think
taste
that's what
test.
they
You
should-
should put them all out in front of you, blindfold, mix them all around,
Strawberry.
and then taste them and see what you like.
Oh, I
Chad
love
is
that.
telling me strawberry was the other one I forgot. But yes, there's also strawberry Yoo. But yes, that's just my point. I think if this becomes a viral video of crazy people ranting about Polar, I want it stuck on the end that places should know. Support people that talk about your stuff.
Why haven't I just pretended to be Nicole Franzel asking Polar for?
Oh
for-
my
Exactly,
God.
just
My
call them.
God, I'm so dumb.
You got
Well,
it. That's what you
actually-
need to do. Just call them up.
Please,
Oh,
hi,
actually-
this is Nicole. I was wondering if you could send me some Polar.
You might have missed your window.
Yeah, I don't know if product placement's the best.
Yeah.
Anymore.
We love her, and she's all the best
Yeah.
things going on for
Yes.
her in her real life and real world right
And-
now.
and a shout out to her because she's been extremely supportive. Like she's been reaching out to me and like wishing me well, like with my new relationship and everything. So
Good.
just like shout out to Nicole. Like she's been amazing. But what I was going to tell you guys, and I'm very upset about it, so I'm just going to shove it in here. I applied for the Pepsi Peeps soda, the
Oh,
exclusive.
here we go.
It was exclusive. Peeps flavored Pepsi. They're only giving away like 1,000. I entered on Twitter. I entered on Instagram. I'm sitting at the dinner table like 2 days ago, and my family goes, "So Nicole, how'd you make out with the Peeps soda?" And I go, "They didn't announce the winner yet." I pull up the directions. They did, and I didn't win.
Are we
I would
voting
just-
against Pepsi or
Yeah.
what?
I'm over Pepsi. I'm going to pretend to be over Peeps, even though I'm still secretly eating them. But I'm mad. I'm so mad because I wanted it.
See, this is just the nail in the coffin. I've always just kind of tolerated Pepsi, but that's just the nail in the coffin for me.
Good.
I guess I'm just exclusively a Coke girl now. Again, not sounding good when you say it.
Two very important points, I think, to stick in here. Number one, I want to give a shout out to Lefty. Nicole's new boyfriend, because Lord knows if it wasn't for him, I would have been hearing about this GD Pepsi story every minute of every day. And I haven't had to hear it at all. So amazing. Number two, for the 15th time, you can order it online. I've been telling you for months. You can literally order Peeps soda on Amazon. It exists. Just go order it.
I don't even know what to say to that.
I've been telling you.
All right, so I'm gonna order Yoo-hoo and Peeps Pepsi.
Okay,
And
do it.
Polar. Actually, no, I'm not ordering the Polar till they give you a free case. This came full circle. I'm
Nope.
tweeting out a whole rant.
It's gonna be great. Please. This
I
is gonna
got
be
this.
great.
I got you, Beth.
I've
Now-
had, famous drag queens tell Polar to give me seltzer. Come on.
They didn't do it. This is bull.
I really think the last time they tweeted was like before the pandemic, though. So I just don't think they have a social media manager, which is a mistake.
It is.
And
And
that
that's another
out there.
problem. We should email them and let them know that first they got to fix that error, then they got to rectify the Beth error.
That's really great. If I were to I want a free case of Polar. Here are all the things wrong with your branding.
When then maybe they go, you can have all the free Polar you want. We're going to hire you as our social media manager.
You could run their Twitter.
Oh my God. I
You
actually
need to
think
make
that
like
could
a
be
Polar
dream
fan
job
page.
is if I were to be a social media manager for Polar Seltzer. It would literally just be pictures of me on their official one being like, oh, it's so good.
And then you would
All the
hire
ads
me
are
to
you.
make the commercials for social media. We could do this whole Nicole could.
I would be like, we need to sponsor the Hello Friends podcast.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
you.
These are the things that
Thank
we
you.
need to do.
Yep.
We can get it. It would be really great because neither of you like seltzer, but you would have to shout out.
I'd be like, so
so
refreshing.
good. You're like, this is so good. And you're like,
Like,
I honestly think that'd be a good
Delicious.
commercial.
delicious. I love it.
yum.
Yum. We should.
Beth, how are you not an actress? This is what I want to know.
So I went to college thinking I was going to be like an actress or something. And then I realized I really like directing. So I did a lot of directing work in college. And then, I graduated in the middle of the economic depression and that jump started this depression. What up? No. And then I just stayed in higher education and really have enjoyed it since. So I don't know. I think that through streaming and podcasting, I kind of get that let's get my goofy acting dramatic side out in that way. And it kind of appeases me. But you know what? If someone were to say, hey, Beth, we want you to be a voice actress. We want you to act in this thing. I'd be like, you know what? If you really want me to, I guess I'll make time,
Pay me in Polars.
I would be well, I guess not real. I mean, this could be an expensive habit, let me just say, but this could be like the cheapest thing they've ever done to try to get someone to act. It's just, we bought her 2 cases of Polar Seltzer. She was happy to do,
I can see it in your future. You're very talented and I can see it. Very funny.
Oh,
Very natural.
Thank you very much.
I mean, that is exactly what that is exactly what I did. I went to school for radio and television production and then worked for MTV and then September 11th and then didn't leave my apartment for 3 years because I thought I was going to die every day. And then this. And that's how all of this became to be. So it's, is crazy that I think all people, not just us, I'm sure there are a lot of people who have those stories of where they adopted, or changed what their passion was to meet the situation that they ended up in.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think that I was finding that through my day job, even though I enjoyed it, I wasn't getting a lot of listen, I'm a Leo. I love being the center of attention and the validation and blah, blah, blah. But I think that I wasn't getting the necessary, people were like, great job, Beth, but they weren't backing that up with anything for a long time, or they would just be like, Beth's really great. So we're going to give her all these other additional things to do, which was both nice because they were recognizing I'd be good to help them out with something. But the other time I'm like, all right, but what are we also doing to
Yeah.
to validate? So when I started streaming, which I got into because of Dylan from last week, that really helped me be like, oh, I can just be my goofy self on camera. Because I'm like not the world's best gamer in the entire world, but like people come and watch because like how I react to gaming or just in general. So
and what do you mainly play?
So for a long time, I mostly played Dead by Daylight, which I know that Eric has just started playing. I ended the stream the other day. Was like, I could do like a whole 1-on-1 session for you. But that was my main game for a long time. But now I stream my Weekly Meltdowns podcast on there.
Right.
And we also do some Animal Crossing. I've done a lot of Tetris on there. I love Tetris. I've been obsessed with Tetris since I was a little kid. And I'm going to play Pokemon Snap when that comes out at the end of the month. I'm going to play some Skyward Sword when that comes out. I've never played Zelda Skyward Sword ever. It's like the one Zelda game I've never played. So I'm so excited that it's coming out for Switch, so I get to play that too. So I just kind of play a whole bunch of like different games and such too.
You realize that's the exact same thing I've been saying every day on my Twitch shows. It's the one. Well, I'm sorry. I actually have come to find out that there was only Zelda's my favorite franchise. The only two I missed were Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. And it's because when I was in the transition of like buying our house and like other things, it was just like gaming wasn't a thing for like that stretch of years. And I just forgot about it. And then I like got back in with like the next ones, then Breath of the Wild. And I was like, how did I miss those? So I am same thing. I've been saying I'm very much looking forward to that coming back. But I feel like we have to explain to Nicole what Tetris is.
I know what Tetris is. That's like little pieces that fall and you got to make
it. All right, just want to make sure.
Like a couple years ago, they came out with Tetris 99, and which was basically like you're against 98 other people on, live, and you're just sending junk to everybody, and you're trying to, keep the lowest stack. And so I've won that quite a few times, but I got to a point where I got laughing because Dylan's husband, Nigel, and I got very competitive with each other. And when I finally got to go out and visit them, not this past November, obviously, because of the pandemic, but the year before, we had this whole moment where it was like, Beth and Nigel are finally together in person and they're going to go. And I beat him. And he was like, it's only because you made me play with a controller. I never played with it. I was like, okay, buddy, come on. It was just so funny. But we were just, it brings out the worst in me. Tetris does.
Wow.
Oh, that's the most fun streams. It brings out the worst.
Oh, yeah. I also totally glaze over in the eyes. And so I sit there and I'm like,
that's horrible.
I have to lay when I play the games, which I know is very there are some people that very much frown about it, which I would say if I was just a Twitch streamer, we would have this setup. I'd have my 4 monitors and the green screen and that's all for this, the real stuff that I do. When I'm playing a game, it used to be that I want to relax. Now it turns out I don't have a choice, and your back does things in your 40s that you're like, what? So now I have to stretch it out. Yeah, it is. Oh my God. So
I'm 26.
Shut up, Nicole. This isn't about you. So I try and angle the camera to trick people. Oh my God.
I did notice my favorite thing. Dylan and I were chatting, and because we had just finished recording one of our podcasts, and we were like, "Oh, Eric's on. Let's go check him out." And we were like, "Look at how tiny his face is in the corner."
And I panicked because people don't want to see me. I don't want people to be like, "Look, he's like." I try and trick the cat. You wouldn't really know if I was like this. If I was laying down or sitting up. I mean, eventually my face would probably start doing this. But aside from that, you really don't know. And no one needs to see my face.
Let's see. I couldn't do that laying down because as the stream went on, all of a sudden I'd be like, I just fall asleep on the stream and then people be watching me sleep.
No.
It's amazing. I have had not streamers like who have been live, but I've played with people who have fully fallen asleep, like while we're
Really?
waiting for a match or something in Dead by Daylight. Because God, as Eric will know, it can take forever sometimes to get into a match.
Really?
And I had this one friend who like just snores so loudly that all of a sudden we heard like in my ear, and I was like, oh my God, is JR sleeping right now? So like I'm like literally like everybody else mute because I'm about to yell. And then they were like, oh, well, Beth has a loud voice. So they all
Oh my
muted.
God.
And I'm going, JR, wake up. The killer's on you. And that kind of and didn't wake up. And so we just ended up having to
Maybe
start.
he didn't fall asleep, was the killer Freddy, and the game is becoming
Oh.
reality.
He did
No.
die in his sleep. That was what, no, that did not happen. He's
That-
alive. He's alive and well. It's just-
I don't
Oh,
like that.
you can't joke like that. Nicole freaks
I'm
out.
so sorry.
Uh,
I'm so sorry, Nicole. I was just doing a Freddy joke.
So many
Okay.
people are like, do you think Nicole will play Dead by Daylight? And I was like, I don't know. Look out your window. Are there pigs flying?
I would just pause a lot. People have to deal with me going, pause, pause.
And there's no pausing. in
there's
that game.
no pausing. There's just all
Just
the
live
famous
and you're
killers
facing other
killing
people,
you.
So.
Then
Yeah.
it would just be me profusely cursing nonstop.
Actually, I think Nicole would probably do pretty well on it, to be honest. I think she would get angry at the killers.
Oh, I do. Here's the thing. I just watched recently, like The Exorcist. I watched The Conjuring. I watched The Conjuring 2, and we're allowed to curse on the show, so get ready. When I watch those movies, I get scared. And then there comes a point in the movie, like a half hour in, where I'm like, that's enough of that. So then I, like, The Conjuring, when the nun's popping up, I'm just like, fuck you, go away. Nobody fucking likes you. Stop scaring people. And I don't stop. Like I just keep on calling them names because I think it's just like a defense mechanism. It's like, hey, you scared me, and now be gone. And I
do a
stop.
similar thing, but I also like pick apart the plot while I'm like the worst person. If you like really want to engage in a scary or suspenseful movie, don't watch with me because my defense mechanism is to talk out loud. So like I watched Bird Box. And did you all watch that?
Is that the one where she's blindfolded?
They're all blindfolded because they're so
I'm with you.
So there was a moment, like the whole point is that they can't look at the sky or anything like that because there's some kind of invisible being that makes people like want to die, right?
Okay.
So what they do is they stay blindfolded and they stay inside and all this other stuff. But there's a moment where there's some people who have been kind of like taken over, like possessed by whatever this is. And like you kind of theorize that maybe they were people who had some kind of trauma or whatever. But they try to get you to look at the sky. And there's a moment where like 2 babies were just born and they're like trying to protect the babies. And I'm like, what are the babies going to do? If they look at the sky, first of all, they can't see the sky. They can't see 6 feet in front of them. So there's nothing that's going to happen there. Secondly, how are the babies going to kill themselves if they're literal, like born an hour ago? There is nothing they can do. So why protect the babies from
It's if you
outside?
see...
That's a soundbite.
Yeah, protect the babies because I see Nicole's brain is if when you see the thing, you don't know what it is in the movie. When you see it, you like go crazy, kill yourself. So you have to be blindfolded the whole time, the whole movie.
And so I'm just sitting there. They have all these adults that are like, save these children, and like trying to like protect the children from seeing like. Do you not realize that a newborn baby literally can't see past here?
Yeah.
So if you showed them the sky, they're not gonna be able to see anything.
Yeah, I feel like we would be the same in movies. I do the same exact thing.
My friend was like dying. I'm like, what's the baby gonna do? She was like, you know,
I had so much more problems with that movie. Like, remember the part where she like had the string? Like, she rowed a boat to the right place in a stream, found the fishing wire, blindfolded. I don't think I could do it with my eyes.
No.
This is so ridiculous. The whole thing is so ridiculous.
I question, but more so like what the person's doing. So now again, like The Conjuring with that whole freaking tent in the house. Like I was like, no, don't go near it. Don't roll that toy back. Why are you rolling that toy? Now you're just stupid. Now you're stupid. I told you not to do it. Now things like that's what I do.
Now
I
you
kill
deserve
person.
it.
Yeah,
Now
that's
you deserve it. Yeah,
like oh, a door opened. I'm gonna go investigate in the drafty basement. So I'm like, why are you going down that basement? Why are you going? Now it's dark. The lights just went out. Why are you continuing to walk down the steps? You're an idiot. And then I just keep on going. And then sometimes I get stuck on what I call a broken record. And if I'm really panicking, then I start going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and I just don't stop. I just repeat that sentence until the scene's over.
Yeah.
There's-
There are
you
so
know what
many
the game
people.
that you guys should play on stream if you're
Among
ever
Us?
together. No, Until Dawn.
Oh
Okay.
yes, I know of that. Oh,
You
gosh.
guys should play Until Dawn. So
Why
it's
is that?
basically a game where it's one person at a time. What we did was I had a friend group. I think there's like 8 people that you can play as all together, and
Oh,
so
it's like
each
Big
of us just
Brother.
passed the. There you go.
That's the one, Eric. That's the one I said to Dylan last week, and I couldn't think of the name of it until Dawn.
Yes.
Thank you, Beth. Continue.
So basically what happens in the game is that depending on the decisions you make in a split second depend on the course that ends up happening. So there's like a whole butterfly effect of it. And what ends up happening is you basically are one of 8 teenagers who are going to hang out at this cabin a year after 2 of the girls that had been a part of their group, who were sisters, mysteriously disappeared and died. And so then there's all these other things that have happened. So
Question.
yeah.
Can I be a hot jock?
Yes.
Then I am in.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Because as you
Yep.
know, on Dead by Daylight, I'm the David King, the shirtless
You have to
version.
be shirtless. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
there's Mike, who's like the popular guy, who's like a hot jock, and then there's another hot jock named Mike or Matt.
Oh, so
I'm
Mike and
more
Matt.
about the Matt
Mike and
than the
Matt.
Mike. Mike is such like the Mike and Ike's.
Mike and X. Yeah. But yeah, basically how you're standing with the other characters
Mhm.
depends on whether or not that character will live when other situations come up. Like there's
Really?
so like in a conversation, you will choose either left or right. Do you want to respond this way? Do you want to respond this way? Those kind of things. And then there will be times where like you might be running away from something and you have to hit a button that it'll come up and be like triangle, and you have to hit triangle like as within like 2 seconds of it
Oh,
popping
I'm
up.
out.
And if you miss too
I'm
many
dead.
things, then something might happen. If you get them all right, then something might happen. So there's just like it's really fun. It's suspenseful. It's kind of scary, but it's a lot of fun. And it's technically a 1-person game, but what I did was I played with 7 other people, and we just kind of cast it. We said, okay, whenever Emily shows up, Beth is going to play. So I was Emily, and then
Oh, I
if
get
any
it.
of our
Oh,
characters
cool.
died, then you were done playing.
That's cool.
But it was a lot of fun.
I do own it. And I was trying to.
Oh, you should play it.
Yeah, I was trying to explain to Dylan. I'm like, oh, it's like a Big Brother. It's people in a house. Until Dawn. There it is.
Until Dawn.
So I do
It's
own
so
it.
good.
I own them. I just don't play them because I scare myself.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
I love Among Us, and I was telling Dylan that he needs to play Among Us with us. You
I
need
love
to
it.
play it. You need to do. I love an Among Us, but yes, as of this moment, I am all about Dead by Daylight. I do find it funny that there are like the people that are like, it's too scary. We can't watch it. You go on. I'm like, first of all, this is so obviously a cartoon. Like
But
but no, because believe me, there are games out there that you would think it's real people being murdered on screen. This is obviously cartoons.
Yeah.
That's number 1. And then number 2, I just think I'm funny.
The commentary you can have with a game like Dead by Daylight
Yeah.
lends itself to comedic people. Like it's just how it is.
I have to say, like Reagan Fox from Big Brother is the reason that I started playing it because I was watching him play it. I actually just went to his Twitch channel the other day and I saw he had a trailer and I was like, I wonder what his trailer is. So I hit play on it and it is like a mashup of all of the funny things that he said while
That's
playing
cool.
Dead by Daylight. And I was actually laughing out loud. And I was like, this is actually a really funny, smart way to do a channel trailer.
Oh,
So
totally.
I loved it. I
I
thought
love
it
it.
was very funny. I thought it was very, very funny. And so we have to play that with you and
100%.
Among Us, but I'm not good at it. Like literally, I think I've only been playing it for 5 days, maybe.
Yeah, you were
Um,
pretty solid when I watched you. I mean, there were things that like, so I taught him about like when the killer might
yes,
hit you and those kind of
right.
things.
Yeah,
But I feel like a joint session where we play together,
I
where I
would
might
love
teach you some things.
Look,
I'm
I
totally
can
down
be
for it.
honest. I can be honest on like everyone should just talk to me on these shows because in real life, I would give like yeah, that sounds totally great. We should. Now that we're on a show, I can say this. I really want to, Beth, but I'm afraid of looking stupid in front of someone like you who is clearly much better. And then I would like let you down and we would die because of me. And then
Listen,
I would go back and be like, I look stupid to Beth and Dylan.
Let's
well, here's the
analyze
thing.
this.
So I need you to realize that Beth and Dylan are literally the dumbest bitches there are in the world. So,
Have you
so
met Nicole and
that's
Eric?
honestly, here we go. We have our 4-person party right there. Just
Okay.
That's our
the
name.
three of us
Four
and
dumb
Dylan.
bitches.
Should be. New
We have
podcast.
we have a phrase that Dylan and I like to use to describe ourselves, which is called dumb bitch energy. And
Okay.
we bring it all the time, whether it's in Hot Mess Moments or podcast or in our different streams and that kind of thing. The thing about Dead by Daylight is when we would play with people who are newer to the game, we're more
Mhm.
likely to play against killers that are lower ranked, which means that they're easier.
Well, that must be
So
fun.
if I'm doing really well, it may have nothing to do with like how good I am and just how poor the killer is in comparison. And if you're
Mhm.
brand new to a game, that's not like your fault that you don't know the game as
Exactly.
well as me, who has been playing for almost 4 years.
True.
Like that just means I have no life for the past 4 years.
Yes, but see, here's the thing, Beth. If the role was reversed and you came on to play with me, I'd be like, God, Beth, you're ruining it for everyone. My
And
whole
I feel like
stream
you're
is
right.
is dying because of you. Look how many viewers we're losing. Like it'd be like that.
And I would be like, you're so right. Cue us up again. Let's go again.
I do my favorite thing, and it is so funny because people will literally like, Eric, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. People don't get that like my favorite type of like improv thing to do is just to rage for fun.
Rage.
Like
Oh,
I just
yeah.
think like it's hysterical, but people really think I'm mad.
If you want to meet someone who shares your sentiments, you need like not to like continually plug my own stuff.
No.
You need to check out my weekly meltdown and my co-host Allison. She has this really strong Tennessee accent, and
Okay.
she just will go on little rants and rages. And part of it is just it is so funny. One of my favorite things she's ever said. She was playing a mini org kind of game
Mhm.
online, and she was in the final two. She ended up winning, but somebody had said something along the lines of like you only got that power because you knew how to type so quickly. And her response was, honey, I've been taking typing lessons since you were swimming around in your daddy's nutsack. Like it's
Oh
that kind of shit that she comes up with just like on a whim. But then you take that energy and you apply it to like a fake
Uh-huh.
rant moment. It's just
yeah.
so good. She's
I
amazing.
do. I love it. I am
I love
honestly
that.
bracing. I am bracing myself for, you know, we had to previously, before a month or so ago, we very much had to watch very cautiously everything that we said
Yes.
when doing
Yes.
shows, which very much
Yeah.
limited the jokes and what I like to do on a show. And now those restraints have been lifted. And I went back to more old school Eric on like our last Big Brother Canada show. And I kind of just keep bracing myself to see like, is this where people are going to be like, I can't believe you did it? Like, I can't
No,
express
because
how
you have
much
me to play devil's advocate and to counter you,
that's good that you're
Do
here
it,
for
do it.
that
right?
100%. But I love when people think like, I guess I would be concerned if I thought someone was that passionate or that angry about like Big Brother or what someone's doing on a game or it's just fun to just rage over the most ridiculous things.
My point has always stayed as long as you were raging about something that was in the game,
Right.
or that they actually said or did,
Right.
that is completely valid. If
I
you
agree.
start going into the realm of like making fun of people for who they are, who you project that they are, those kind
What
of
they
things,
look
that's when you're
like.
yeah, that's ugly. That's like
I
A, not
agree.
necessary, and B, that crosses a line. So I find that this is actually something that I am very cognizant specifically about my drag race coverage, because a lot of that is talking about what they're wearing and how they look and that kind of thing. And you need to be respectful of the queen's craft and their artsmanship, while at the same time being able to say, like, I just don't like the outfit. And that's
Yeah.
Right.
valid and that's fine, but that doesn't have any bearing on the person's value as a person.
Exactly.
You
So, like,
can
I may
do
not
it.
like Candy Muse as a contestant on the show, but that doesn't mean I don't like her as a human being. And that doesn't mean that I think people
Exactly.
should be contacting her family and saying that she's shit, because I think that's awful. And if you're anybody who's out there doing it, you need to cut it out, which I don't think
Exactly.
anybody in the Hello Friends podcast community would be doing that. But I'm just putting that out there.
No death threats come this way.
But that's the
Go
thing, like
ahead.
Eric and I always say that with Big Brother, like we can watch an episode and be like, oh my gosh, like what a stupid game move. Why would you say that? Like you should have worded yourself this way. And why is that person being so aggressive and manipulative? Like shut up. And obviously, like everything we preface and then end cap with in the game. Like we're not talking
In
about
the game.
in their
Yeah.
life. We're not talking about on a personal level. Like everything is watching a character on a show
Yep.
and getting passionate about that character. It's like playing a video game. It's like watching a movie when you're yelling F you at the phantom that's chasing the person. Like you just get so passionate, but it doesn't carry over, you know,
And
to
you
the
also-
actors in real life.
And I also think as commentators, it's important for us, like I'm really big in social justice, to call out microaggressions, to call out implicit bias and call out
Yeah.
those things and say, like, while I don't think this defines this person as a person, this does define an aspect of them that they might
Yeah.
need
True.
to consider and look at and think about when they leave and to take ownership over. There's one thing that ruins a game, literally, like literally your game in the game, and how you were perceived after the fact is whether or not you take ownership over things that you said
Yes.
or did. And that's
Yep.
literally it. If you're
Yep.
willing to take that ownership, if you're willing to take those steps afterwards, I'm completely fine with you.
And I think
I think
that
most
that
people
goes
are.
for like all of us as broadcasters too. Like
Totally.
we always say like, oh yeah, I did say I didn't like you during your character during the cast assessment. I did say I didn't like that week when you won the veto and didn't use it. Like you just have to kind of like, yes, I did say that, but it doesn't pertain to now. And like you're saying, the people in the house, we always say give them a second chance in regards to like Big Brother, and let them in the real world be like, oh yeah, I did say that and that wasn't right. I was in the heat of the moment, and kind of learn from it, as opposed to the cancel.
I'm a very big believer in giving people the grace and mercy to learn from their mistakes, because I don't think that necessarily just like jumping down their throats is going to be
Yeah.
the way in which they are receptive to hearing things that they can grow. However, I do think that some people need to be beaten over the head if they're not willing to take
Well,
ownership of something.
This is what I
True.
was going to say. You can be all of those things. And then you think, God, but sometimes I just want to go in for real. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can on the people that don't apologize and are like that in the real world. There's plenty of them.
Yeah, there's plenty of them. And I think that that's just the thing that I've noticed the most too. Like, I also am somebody who very much appreciates when people say, hey, you said this on your podcast, and I
Yeah.
know that your intention wasn't this, but this was the impact of what you said. And I am more than happy to take that and learn and grow and address it at the next podcast and say, this was brought to my attention. I didn't realize that this is what it meant. Let's talk about this a little bit further. And now we can move on. And like, I think that that's important.
I love that you get that. We get the people that know if they go to a house guest and be like, Eric and Nicole said on the show that your parents raised you horribly and you smuggled drugs in your dirty, unwashed hair. That then the person's not going to do our show, and they'll leave out the part like, oh, that was like a rant where they were joking, being
Or
like,
it wasn't even said.
or it wasn't even
that
said.
wasn't
but-
even said. Yeah.
or it wasn't even said, or it was, and there's always a lot of that. But I love that. I never have a problem being like, God, I messed up. I did not realize how X,
Listen,
Y,
we're
or
all
Z
gonna
came
mess
up.
up, and especially the three of us are all like white and have a lot of
White.
privilege when it comes to
Yep.
racial things too. Like there are going to be things that maybe we haven't considered or experienced or whatever that would be helpful for us to be anti-racist, like advocates out in the world and that kind of thing. So I just always, I welcome that kind of feedback. I will say this, there is somebody, I don't know who it is. I actually think it's kind of comical more than anything. There's someone who's creating like troll accounts on TikTok and then taking something I've said on my Drag Race podcast and then like,
Oh, you made it.
and just like going onto one of my videos and being like, you said that you were with your friends watching Drag Race and you were at a super spreader event and that means that you're not being responsible. I was like, first of all, I was watching Drag Race online with people for a long time and now we're all vaccinated. There's less than 5 of us on a couch. That does not make a super spreader event. Thank you very much. But like, just like those little things that I think it's like, I finally made it. I have someone
You
who's
did.
control accounts to get under my skin, but it's not working.
And you also nailed it without realizing it when you said those little things, because I find they're all like the tweens.
Yeah.
They're all like the pre-teen tweens people. And everyone always says, like, mute, mute, mute. You want to keep the followers. No, I block everyone. And I also think it's funny when you block people and then they think it's like, great for them. Like they think it's a badge that you block them and like tweet out and I'm like, you realize none of us see that.
She's like it's
because you're blocked.
Nicole blocked me. I'm so bad at I'm sorry. Who was out there going, oh, Nicole Anthony blocked me? I made it.
I seriously walked to that with some of the things, some of the messages I've gotten. I have my moments of like, really? Me? You woke up in the morning and said, you know who I want to
chose violence against Nicole Anthony.
Right.
Like, why? Like, of all people,
they were way better people to choose violence against.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, let's start with Matt Gaetz. How about we start there? And then, like, there's people that we could go after.
It doesn't make sense at all.
I want to say one thing just to, backtrack for 1 second, because I have found out that a lot of people didn't know this. I was actually just talking to a friend about it because it came up on the Real World reunion show. But it's something that I have never forgotten since I think it was Ika's first season on playing Big Brother Canada. And I don't want to say that it was Ika who said it to me, and not because of anything we did. But anyway, it is that it's not enough. Like so many people always say, I'm not racist. That as a white person, and that's great. But you need to be. It's not enough to be not racist. You have to be anti-racism. Like,
correct.
That's it. And that sentence of it's not enough not to be racist, you actually have to actively be anti-racism, which opened up so much of my mind to things over the years of doing shows and being aware I don't have a right to speak on this thing. I need to bring someone on who should be talking about this, and stuff like that. And I think that is just an important message to stick in here. Because I find it funny that a lot of people didn't know that.
No, it's so true. I think that a lot of us who are in majority groups, whether you're white or you're cisgender or straight or whatever the case is, there are things that if you are silent on them, you take the side of the oppressor.
Right.
So and that's why you need to be vocally an anti, homophobia, transphobia, racism, all those different kinds of things, and that kind of thing. So no, and I think that it's important for us as podcasters to reflect on that too when we're talking about things, because if I do think it's important to touch on when house guests or contestants or whatever are maybe perpetrating some of these, microaggressions or whatever the case might be, we need to be able to call them out. That doesn't mean that we ourselves are perfect. It means that, this is a moment where we can have a voice and push this message out there, but we can also grow and learn ourselves.
Exactly.
And that's definitely something I've learned in my post Big Brother journeys is I'll admit I was very much of the mindset well, I'm not racist. And that I know my truth. Of course I'm not right. And then, you start to realize, well, if you associate with someone who has said or done certain things, that's allowing it. If you don't speak up against certain things that you're seeing or hearing, that's allowing it. And that's something that in my 2-year-long journey, I'm still like working on and working against and like trying to like sort out, if that makes sense. Because, and Eric, that's a perfect quote for it. I don't think you ever shared that specific quote with me, but it is so important and it's so obvious, but yet not, if that makes sense. Like it's something that it's like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. But unless you're actually told it and really implement it, it's not I don't know, it's not the easiest thing to just like realize. That makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think if you combine it's not enough to be not racist, you have to be actively anti-racist with my other favorite thing, which is understanding that your intention doesn't matter, your impact does. So even if you didn't intend to hurt somebody, if your impact was that you hurt somebody, you still need to take ownership of that and figure out what is the best way to mitigate that in the future. It could be a simple way of rewording something. It could be having to actively understand why your intention wasn't taken as meant. And ultimately, I was a communication major in college. Like I literally studied rhetoric and communication. So my whole thing has always been the rhetorical audience always gets to determine what the message was, not the person who sent or was speaking or whatever. And really good communicators are people who know who their rhetorical audience is and can craft a message, whether they're talking, emailing, whatever, that will be basically streamlined so that the rhetorical audience is going to understand their intention, which is why when you know people really well, you know what their intentions are. And therefore, like they might say something that other people who don't know them that you'd be like, oh, but when it's just you and them, you know what their intention is. So you can have a better discussion about impact. But
Absolutely.
You know what I want people to be impacted by, Beth?
What's that?
The podcast that you are on and a part of, so they can continue to keep hearing amazing conversations like this.
Thank you so much, Eric. Yes, people can find me on different podcasts every week.
Yes.
Well, let's, because we'll link them all in the show notes and stuff like that. But let's start with the 2 that you do not with Dylan and tell people where they can find those.
So on Sundays, I record the drag race contest, the podcast. Oh my gosh, for the art contest. Yes. I am on the Rahap Up for Drag Race. For Rob Has a Podcast, I co-host with Liana Boris and I'm on Adwin. So you can catch both our video and our podcasts, typically either Sunday night or Monday morning. I'm also on my Weekly Meltdown. We go live on Wednesdays after the challenge and Thursdays after the elimination episode of BB Can 9. We have done other things. We try to come up with fun patron shows. Those are fun things. We also go live on my Twitch channel, not just our YouTube page for that. And then our other one the other one that I'm involved in is Hot Mess Moments with Dylan, where we're talking about the Nanny and Lost. It's my first time watching Lost. It's Dylan's first time watching the Nanny. And we just before I went live here finished our 4th episode recording. So
I truly feel that this needs to be, again, we didn't get really into any of the things that we wanted to talk about. We're already an hour.
No, it's perfect.
And a half in. So, I mean, it's brilliant. You're just going to have to come back because there were many things that I wanted to know about this. But if you don't know, the show that you do with Dylan is just kind of like what you said. You have never watched Lost, and it's his favorite show and one of mine. And he's never watched The Nanny, which is one of your favorite shows, also one of my hub's favorite shows.
Ooh.
And I can't stand it. And
wow, anti-seltzer and anti The Nanny.
Yeah.
She's done.
It's the voice, which I get. It like pierces into my brain and gives me a headache.
Just makes me laugh so much because you grew up like less than an hour away from where she would have been from.
Yes, you are correct. I think that is why I'm so adverse to it. I think that was a lot of my teachers growing up.
Oh, okay. That makes much more sense.
I think that is why. But so and then you're each discovering it. You're going episode by episode and discovering and learning, and it is a lot of fun. You guys need to check that out. And also stay tuned for our new podcast with Dylan and Beth for Dumb Bitches.
Yes.
I love that. That's great.
Well, originally we were going to name our podcast Dumb Bitch Energy,
hmm
but I was like, you know
But you
what?
want a
I kind of have
sponsor?
well, there's that, but I also was like, I kind of have like a really big day job, and I
Mhm.
don't want people like my job is literally going to be helping people with like networking and career stuff. And what does it say when the person who's telling you that is a part of a podcast called Dumb Bitch Energy?
Right,
So we
right.
went for hot mess mode.
That works. That works.
Or you make it be solely a podcast. You don't have to show who you are at all. You do Nicole Frenzel voice.
Oh my God.
No, you change the voice every episode.
Oh,
Sometimes
okay.
it's Nicole, sometimes it's I can't think of her first name, the mother from Family Guy. Then
Lois.
other time, thank you,
It's
Lois.
Siri.
Other times it's Siri. Like people never know what they're gonna get.
This
They
could be
can
great.
talk to each other.
Oh
You
my
hear
God, I could.
Four dumb bitches,
Oh my God, this could be great.
right?
Now,
No, oh my God, clarify, because the title was Four Dumb Bitches. I'm not calling you a dumb bitch. I'm not calling Nicole F a dumb bitch. I just meant because we said four people, four dumb bitches.
No. You
well,
can call me
here's
a
what
dumb
I
bitch,
want to
am.
say. See, this is a great example of what we said would
No.
happen earlier. So here's the thing. A lot of people, as you know, if you are a Big Brother Canada watcher, there's been a lot of live feed drama today
Yeah.
going on right when we went live. So there have been a lot of people who have circulated in now. Clearly, the feeds have gone back down. They're very confused about this Nicole Frenzel reference. So everyone, get ready to have your minds blown. Close your eyes.
Or don't.
Oh
It's
my
so
God. Hi guys. It's Nicole Franzel. I'm sitting here talking with the other Nicole and Eric, and we're here discussing all the various podcasts that Beth is on. I don't know who Beth is. Victor, do you know who Beth is? I don't know. But anyway, so this is what we're doing here, and I hope you all are having a great day. Thanks. And bye from your favorite Obley girl.
It is my most favorite thing ever. I love it.
No, like it's like not. It's not even like off
It's
in the slightest
mind-blowing.
sense. Yes, it's not like, oh yeah, you do sound like her, or yeah, oh yeah, I hear it. It's literally her voice. Like that's
You
really
have
Yeah.
to, it's the way that she says and ums that like she
Yeah.
uses them a lot and like while she thinks about what she's going to say next. So you have to like figure out her cadence. That's what
Mhm.
I worked on first before I really slipped into the accent portion.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
I love it. I'm fascinated by anyone that can do an impression. It just blows my mind.
It's weird. It's so
I
weird.
think
Basically
all
weird though.
I think all
But-
impressions are amazing. Yes, Nicole?
And Beth, before we wrap up, I do want, if anybody has never seen The Nanny, what is a one sentence hook that you will give to make them watch it?
Okay. So The Nanny is essentially the 90s version of I Love Lucy combined with The Sound of Music, but the lead character has the best eclectic, eccentric sense of style from the 90s and is a Jewish American woman with a funny accent from Queens.
Wow, that was perfect. And you're only a few episodes into Lost, but what will be your one sentence statement about that as of right now?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Lost is a show about mind fuckery. I can already tell. No, but it's essentially about people who have been in a plane crash and inexplicably have survived that plane crash. It's about the people themselves and this mysterious island that they're on that is infested with creatures that shouldn't be there, as well as should they be there? Dun dun dun. I don't know. That's
I
just
like
kind of
that. I like that.
Lost is my favorite show. So I am very excited that you are watching it. I would say if there is any one show that will take you through all of your range of emotions, and I mean all of them, it will be Lost.
We just watched and recorded our podcast for episode 4, which is Walkabout, which Dylan was saying is consistently rated as one of the top episodes throughout the entirety of the series. And I will say I felt all the different emotions watching that episode.
Is that that is what
About
happened?
Spoil it, Eric.
What?
It's about Locke. It's Locke's backstory. And
Okay,
the first
gotcha,
time you get to see Locke
correct. So how he got to be
Yeah, so
right.
like
I don't
you
want to
see
say
him
anything
trying
because
to move his foot a couple of
Gotcha.
times and all that. Yeah, all that stuff.
Gotcha. And Claire, have you met Claire yet?
We've kind of seen, well, you mean Belle from Once Upon a Time?
No,
'Cause
it's
that's
Claire.
I know her.
That's how I met her because I knew Once Upon a Time.
And
Yes,
Charlie.
Jam. Once upon a
Have you
time
met
is
Charlie?
Well, we haven't seen any background information about Claire or Charlie yet. We've just seen them.
But you've been introduced to them as characters.
And
I-
Hurley and Jack, Kate, Saeed.
Just
Walt,
saying.
and his dumbass father, Michael. Like, I
Oh,
don't know.
God.
Like, oh my God, Shannon, she can choke. Shannon can choke. Dylan and I watch these episodes together and we stay silent. We don't do any kind of commentary because oftentimes we will just record right afterwards and get it all out of our system. I literally, in this past episode, unmuted and was like, she can die. Why? Why is she even here? Boone is so nice. He doesn't deserve a sister like that.
So I see a lot of people in the chat
Boone.
asking, like, where are you watching both shows? Are they on Netflix? Are they on Hulu, Amazon?
So, The Nanny just came out for the first time in the US on a streaming service. It is now on HBO Max. And I don't know where Dylan is watching Lost. I think he might have the DVDs of them. So we're watching on a screen share in a call. And he's
Gotcha.
basically, I think, just playing a DVD of Lost and just doing a screen capture. But The Nanny is on HBO Max.
Nice.
And yes, I am the nerd who caught that all of the episodes were out of order, but no worries. HBO Max clearly heard from me and they fixed all the episodes. So now they're in the right order.
Which,
Thank
by the
God.
way, I think it's Hulu. I might be wrong. Don't quote me. It's probably not. But did that with 90210. And my sisters realized, like, what the hell? There's episodes missing. 1 minute we're at prom. Next minute there's like a pregnancy. I don't know. So,
Well, that has
they got it
happened
sorted
before.
out, right? They didn't call the place, but they got a DVD set of 90210 for any and all interested.
As somebody who went to school for radio and television production, would you like my theory?
Yes.
The music and rights that were in those episodes were probably a lot of money, and they realized they could save a ton on, the stuff that they have to pay out if they just skipped one.
Which
And think that
is-
no one will realize if it's a show from the 90s that people won't remember.
Which is why, if I'm correct, Malcolm in the Middle has never been released on DVD because of all music rights and whatnot. And that frustrates me because that's my favorite show and I wish they would just release it.
Oh, Malcolm in the Middle. That used to frustrate me as like a high schooler. Mostly just because I went to school with so many families that were like their family. And I think it was just like, oh man, like, okay, just to put some background here. My dad was my high school principal.
Oh, wow.
And my mom was the high school, middle school librarian. So
That's cool.
yeah, I had to deal with my family dealing with I don't know, in a small community, like dealing with
Yeah.
the same families and all that kind of stuff. Which,
Wow.
yes, that also means that Steve Moses' high school principal was my dad. Just putting that out there.
And
Whoa.
all of that leads up to the day everything changed when there was a horrible accident. All that and more on the next time Beth joins us live to
Why?
go. Yeah, we're leaving him on a cliffhanger, Nicole.
Oh, okay.
I do have an accident in mind that I will share on the next time because it did lead up to that and it was horrible.
Yeah, see? Thought I was lying. I knew that because I also have powers, which we'll discuss on the next show with Beth.
And I have a bone to pick with Peeps and Pepsi, and it will continue.
Nicole will be still rage tweeting Pepsi. More on that on the next show. If you guys have not seen our interview with Tina, it is out now everywhere. And we will, of course, be back on Monday with our Big Brother Canada show. We will have a surprise show here and there for you this weekend. Of course, I will be on Twitch. Are you going to be live at any point this weekend, Beth?
Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow and Saturday. I'm actually doing a joint stream with my friend Stefan, who also edits Hot Mess Moments for Dylan and myself, as well as another really great streamer, Summoner Red. And I think we're going to play Dead by Daylight, but we might do Fall Guys or something like that too. So,
I'm so jealous. I want to do Fall Guys, but I ain't got that PlayStation money. Okay, we'll see all of you on the next show. Or unless you have any final thoughts, Nicole, other than that, of course, Nicole would like you all to follow, like, and subscribe to all of our content. Like we have all said, it is a great way to help support not only our shows, but Beth's, Dylan's, all of your favorite content creators, Rob, everybody. Sharing is caring. And support the shows that you love. Nicole, final thoughts?
I don't have a fan, but I have a clapper.
I love the clappers.
I have the clap.
What?
What? What did you say?
That was the cliffhanger. You just let it go. No, just kidding.
Before I say anything, I see William on YouTube asking, what is Beth's Twitch name?
Oh, it's Augusta Wind 11. Which was Augusta Wind was my attempt at a drag name that I came up with on a drive down to Myrtle Beach one year.
I love that.
11 is my favorite number. That was it.
We're getting sidetracked, but before I wrap up, I just saw something on social media. It said your stripper name is your favorite drink paired with the thing that your parents are most disappointed that you like or that you do.
Oh God.
So
well, we know it's seltzer for me.
It was something like that. Mine was like, oh my, I forget what the first word was. I think it was like your favorite like liquor, maybe. I forget. But all I know is I was like, oh, my parents don't like tattoos. So mine was like, I don't know, Long Island tattoo or something. But that's besides the point. We'll get to
I love when Nicole finds out things that we all learned like when we were in our 20s. And I thought it was the street you grew up on.
Wait, can we hold the phone for 1 second? I'll just find it.
Sure.
You know?
Okay, so while you're doing that, your Twitch is Augusta Wind.
Yep, Augusta Wind 11, and that's also the same as my Twitter, my TikTok, my Instagram. So you can feel free to check me out any of those places as well.
Okay, do you have it, Nicole?
I do. Your stripper name, and this is courtesy, I found this on Holly Allen, my Holly, on Instagram. She has, your stripper name is your favorite salad dressing and the thing that most disappoints your parents. So I would say the fact that I want tattoos and I love Italian. So my name would be Italian Tattoo.
Oh, mine would be balsamic vinaigrette smoking, which I don't know if that really helps.
Balsamic smoke, just limited.
Balsamic smoke.
Here comes balsamic
vinaigrette smoke. I like vinaigrette better for a
vinaigrette smoke.
Yeah, and as a gay who I feel can speak on this, and someone who actually does love and appreciate real world Holly, stop taking drag advice from Holly on Instagram, because that's a horrible dumb drag name. And number two, mine would
Italian
be
Tattoo. It's like a mafia name.
Horrible. It was salad dressing. No one's starting their drag names with salad dressing. And
Ranch.
That being said, mine would be Ranch Gay. Bye, everybody. Bye, friends.